The First Amendment concerns government suppression. So anything that happened before
Sorry, now you have sound.
Isn't First Amendment unless it was the Biden administration afterwards. So for those who think that we've got the smoking gun and they don't need to wait for anything else, could you address that issue, Mr. Musk?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, actually, there are issues if there's election interference before the government, because that is, I think, an issue. It's certainly Twitter. It would appear that Twitter falsely claimed that there was not election interference, but it would.
Right, but that has to do with in-kind contributions. That's a very different kind of thing, and it is criminal. But can you tell us if there will be more smoking guns coming?
Yeah, I think there will be more smoking guns, because the obvious next question is, well, what happened after the election?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's probably the right thing for episode 2, is what happened after the election.
And how long do we have to wait for episode 2?
I don't know. I'll check with Matt.
Elon, yeah, Will, just quickly. Will, go ahead, Will.
Thank you. Elon, apologies if you addressed this earlier. I appreciate how long you've been on this call. What subjects outside of Hunter Biden, by the way, this is Will Kane from Fox News, what subjects outside of Hunter Biden were subject to the most government-induced censorship?
As I said, you may not have heard my earlier comment, but I don't actually, like I said, me personally, I've been working on getting Twitter to be healthy and fixing the engine of engineering. I've not been sort of poring over the Twitter files personally. That's sort of been, Matt Taibbi's doing that, and Barry Weiss is going to do it now as well. So anything I say would be somewhat of a, guesswork, really. But so I don't know. There's obviously a lot of questions around Jan 6. There's questions around COVID. There's a lot of questions, but I think the important thing is that we just get bring daylight to all of these things, and so anything that Twitter has done. And sometimes things, a lot of times Twitter's done things that were just not, it wasn't malicious, it was just foolish. So the things that are
like the nuking people for NPCs, right? For posting NPC memes, thousands of people were banned.
Yeah, exactly.
From just a quick question, with the companies that stopped advertising on Twitter, which I think most of us agree is just not right, has there been any progress since? Have you been in discussions with them? And what are some other strategies to bring in revenue so we depend less on advertisers?
You can hear this. This is Eric Bowling again. I was wondering if you can have any knowledge or you can have any proof that there's some indication that a lot of people on the right side of the political aisle lost a ton of followers. I would say from 2015, 2016, all the way through towards the end of 2021. I'll give you anecdotally myself, I lost 80,000 or so, and not until, this is literal, not until you purchased Twitter did I start gaining followers again in a fairly robust manner. Is there any proof of that? Do you have any evidence of that being sort of a plan or a strategy on Twitter's part?
Again, like I said, I have not read the Twitter files, so it's difficult for me to say that, except so my understanding is limited, and that's why I would leave it to Matt Taibbi and Barry Weiss and ultimately others. But if I say what is my best guess is that there was a very different standard applied to Republican candidates in the U.S. versus Democrat candidates. So there appears, and I emphasize it appears, I'm not saying this is definitely the case, there appears to have been a double standard where Democrats were not censored and left causes were not censored, but right causes and Republicans were. And it was, and I think this is frankly obvious to anyone who uses Twitter without any expose of Twitter files. It was not even-handed, and it's frankly the behavior that is to be expected from an organization that is based in San Francisco, which is far left. So from their standpoint, it wouldn't seem like that they're being unfair. That from their standpoint, it's simply how they see the world. I mean, I think Matt posted like political contributions of Twitter being over 99% Democrat. So, well, what kind of viewpoint would you expect people to have then? It's the behavior you'd expect from a company that is essentially a distillation of San Francisco politics.
And I hope that,
by the way, just really quick, by the way, I want to make a suggestion. I want to make a suggestion real quick. Elon, when you are speaking, we can hear you really well. When you are listening, the background noise from your jet is interfering a little.
Okay, sure.
Can you just mute yourself when you are not speaking?
Yeah. So anyway, I have a question. Like, so when
Will
you're, making the files available to everybody, or rather more people, I'd just like to request that that I don't know, give it to me, because I work for Rebel News, and I think we could do a tremendous job covering this as much as anybody else, really. Yeah.
So Tim Cass is trying to come up, by the way, Elon, just to ask you a question. But in the meantime, I just want to go back, and I know the Persistence has a question as well. I'll give you the mic right after Persistence. But one question again, back to the advertisers, Elon. Not sure if you heard it before. Any progress there with the advertisers that stopped advertising on Twitter, which we all agree is just not right, and any other strategies to bring revenue outside of advertising? You're muted, Elon.
Yeah, so I mean, so Apple has fully resumed advertising, which is appreciated. Apple is the single biggest advertiser on Twitter, and historically and presently. So thanks, Apple, for fully resuming advertising. And I think we are starting to see a lot of other advertisers also resume their spending. I think the problem is that they would read all these stories in the media and then think that they were true, and they're not true. And then as it's becoming clear that the media stories about Twitter being some sort of like right-wing hellscape, which it absolutely isn't. And in fact, it is. There are far fewer bots, far fewer trolls, and it's actually, I think, way more fun and interesting. And we're seeing that in the user minutes and in the daily average users. Then advertisers are like, oh, okay, I guess maybe it is safe to get back in the water. And so we are seeing advertisers resume advertising on Twitter. So that's a good sign. I wish it would be faster, but we are seeing them resume. The more concerning factor on the advertising front is just the entire industry-wide drop in advertising, which Twitter is not immune from. So even though advertisers do get back on, the advertising expenditures in general are dropping for all companies. And so it is imperative that Twitter have an alternate revenue source, hence the subscriber revenue, which is just very important for both the survival and of Twitter, and to reduce its dependence on advertisers. So yeah, overall, I think I'm cautiously optimistic about the future. Yeah, so
I'll add one point of credit. Like I have no stance. I have nothing against the old executives at Twitter, etc. But very objectively speaking, what you've done in a month, and again, that's purely being objective. What you've done in a month is fucking insane. The amount of progress that you've had and where Twitter is at now in such a short period of time. So not that you need more credit, because you're getting a lot here, but I just want to add to it as well. I'll give the mic to the Persistence, who's been waiting for a while, and then Spike. Go ahead, Persistence.
Well, on for making us a popular social media. My question is, do we have any information on advertisers threatening to pull money from Twitter if Twitter did not adhere to a policy? And additionally, do we have any information on congressmen or women who have threatened legislation should Twitter not adhere to a certain policy? And last, I was really intrigued by your comment on positivity and negativity in tweets. You saying that positive tweets would go further, and I just wanted to see what would constitute the measurement from Twitter that would make something positive or negative. Thank you.
You're muted, Elon. Oh, you're back.
Yeah, sure. Well, the advertisers, for the most part, the advertisers are quite rational in that, if you, especially if you're advertising a family-friendly product, that you don't want to be sort of, like let's say you're advertising a Disney movie, you don't want to have like some super negative sort of hate speech, or to the and also a movie or whatever. And you also they don't want to have not safe for work content right next to ads for children toys and stuff like that. So that stuff is quite reasonable, and I agree with that. Advertisers have a right to have their advertising be next to non-advertising content that is consistent with their brand. So that really just means like what is not attempting to monetize with advertising content that advertisers are uncomfortable with. So I think in general it's been okay. I mean, I think there has been some overzealous action by activist groups that pressure the advertisers, that then in turn pressure Twitter. And we're trying to sort of, that I thought was somewhat unreasonable. But I think it's going to trend in a good direction going forward. But I'm not sure. But it looks like it's headed in a good direction. Like I said, advertisers are returning to Twitter. Apple's back at full ad spend, and I've had a number of conversations with the advertiser groups, and every time I've had those conversations, the advertisers have responded positively, and I've also just, because they're like, I mean, they basically they end up reading the sort of mainstream media, and it's like, and then they end up with all the wrong impressions of what's going on. And I said, well, have you tried using Twitter? Do you see these things for yourself? And they're like, actually, it seems fine when we use Twitter. Like, yes, that's because it is fine. And so then, and then I also tell them, like, look, as we try to grow Twitter's user base, if a new user comes on Twitter and then is immediately attacked by trolls and dumped on, they're going to want to leave. So, because who wants to go? It's like going into a party or something and everyone just starts yelling at you. You're going to want to leave that party. So, Twitter does need to be a more welcoming environment for new users, and so the incentives are actually aligned. That if people come on and they see interesting, funny tweets, things that where they learn something new, or it's entertaining, it's funny, it's like, that's the kind of thing that we should see more of. And that's consistent with what most advertisers want, I think, and what Twitter wants in order to grow the user base. And then just generally over time, it's like kind of, people can be, I think, to some degree, choose what sort of experience they, or like, just like you can choose a radio station. Like, some people want to listen to sort of smooth jazz, easy listening, or they may want to go to, pop music, or they want to go to heavy metal thrash, and to each their own. Or if this was, do you want to have like full contact martial arts, or do you want to have light contact, or do you want to do yoga? And you can decide which one of those, what kind of experience you want. That's going to be important in order to have Twitter appeal to a broad audience. So, yeah, so that's the rough game plan.
Tom, I'll let
Elon,
you
you
got a
had
question, Tom?
mentioned, yeah, just wanted to ask really quick. He had mentioned different color check marks for verification for different entities. Was that still going to be part of the new verification process?
Yeah, so again, like the goal is like to say, how do you convey to people using Twitter as quickly as possible and as clearly as possible what they're seeing. So there will be a gold check mark for commercial organizations, a gray check mark for government, and a blue check mark for verified individuals. And then there will also be an organizational affiliation logo. So like next to your check, if you, let's say, a verified user, if you are a professor at Stanford and Stanford is participating in identifying who is a professor, then there would be like a tiny Stanford logo that would appear next to your blue check mark. So then as you're scrolling, it's like you can see, oh, this is actually a Stanford professor, or this person actually does work at Coca-Cola, and there's a clarity there.
Will there be a process for this to apply for an organization for, let's say you're a part of a small news organization and you want to apply for this status? Will it be available to the public, or is this something that's going to be very selective?
No, it will be available to the public. So it's sort of, so it's not going to be like an anointed set of companies. Now, there will be a strong policy against impersonation and deception. So if someone's attempting to deceive users, then their account will be suspended. So that's yeah.
I've got a question here. I'll give it to Tom, just by a pretty notable person that doesn't want to disclose their identity, but it's a simple question. By the way, anyone that has a question, you can DM me. The team is checking all the DMs. The question is plans for crypto Twitter payments, whether it's going to be like WeChat or whether you have plans at all.
Dogecoin.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, hell yeah, Dogecoin to the moon.
Doge to the moon.
Yeah,
I think we do want to have Twitter enable both regular payments and fiat currency, and make it easier to transact with crypto. Yeah.
Okay, I've got another question here from a big YouTuber as well. Elon, one of the first. So they're asking, they want to bring YouTube creators to Twitter. What's your plan with? What's your Twitter creator plan, if there is one?
Yeah. So, well, for video, we need to upgrade the Twitter system to be able to have longer video, and then enable creators to derive revenue from viewership, which is a combination of advertising and subscription. So these are obviously things that need to happen. Like I said, in order for these to happen, like you can have a wish list a mile long, but if the engine of engineering is not fixed, the wish list is long. So that's why I am focused on fixing Twitter engineering first and foremost. In the absence of that, you could have a wish. Whatever you wish for cannot be done because the engineering is not working.
Hey, I have a really great suggestion for you, Elon.
And right after Kim, I'll let Tom jump in right after you. Just Tom, sorry for delaying it so much. Go ahead, Kim. Sorry.
Yeah, you know how foreign media is labeled on Twitter often as like Russian-controlled, state-controlled media. Why don't we do the same thing in the US with all of these media organizations that are telling us go to war? This is all great. Like, why don't we label them as well, US government state media?
No, I think that's a good idea. Because it's like SBF gave so much money to different media organizations that, and then they just write these puff pieces, and it's like, okay, we should be labeling that SBF affiliated media because it is. like if you're going to write a puff piece about someone who gave you a ton of money, then the public should know that you maybe have a bias. So yeah, I mean, I think it should be if if something is taking direction from the state, then that information should be made clear to the readers. Like who really has editorial control should be clear. Because that's all part of like trying to give users of Twitter the most accurate and truthful understanding of what's going on, and be able to calibrate what they read and see or hear on Twitter, to be able to calibrate the truthfulness as a function of where is it coming from, who is the author, who is controlling this from an editorial standpoint, and so then they can apply reasonable judgment in that case.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I think that would be a really good thing to level the playing field, because when you want to find out about what's going on in Ukraine and you get it from sources that are labeled in a certain way, and then the US news sources are not labeled at all, the problem with that is that people think this source is trustworthy and this source is not trustworthy. So if Twitter has labels like this, then they need to be applied fairly also against media that is clearly pro-war and clearly infiltrated by commentators from the intelligence community who are telling us all this bullshit about why we have to be at war.
I agree. I mean, this is the maximum truth is the truth still set you free. So, yep, I agree.
Tom, do you want to ask? I know you've been waiting for a while, Tom.
Thank you for having me.
I have to sign off soon, so maybe just a couple more questions, and then I gotta go back to work here.
I'll let Tom jump in. He's been waiting.
Quickly, Elon,
yeah,
just
before, guys.
And we appreciate keep innovating and keep creating. Thank you.
And Elon, I'll shot as. Go ahead, Tom. I'll let you ask your question, Tom, and then I'll jump in. Go ahead, Tom.
I don't think Tom's here.
Yeah, so I'll jump in, Elon. My question to you, because Tom's not working on his end. Well, it's actually a simple question. I'm gonna shoot my shot. If I can get a DM on Twitter, so I have a line of communication, and then I can try to get you on, convince you to join more spaces. So it's not a question. It's just giving it a shot on my end. I appreciate you joining again.
This is Tom again.
Yeah, Tom, go ahead, man. I said my word. Now it's your turn.
Yeah, thank you. This is Tom Fitton with Judicial Watch, Elon. Appreciate your public service and your transparency efforts here. My concern is, as the head of a watchdog group, is the government corruption in response, not only to what you potentially may uncover, but in response to what you're doing. And when you have the President of the United States from the podium celebrate his election victory by calling for a national security review of your activities, you have senators, focusing on you. You have other government agencies investigating you and your other businesses. Are you concerned, A, about the retaliation, and B, are you seeing evidence of it already?
Hey, you're muted, Elon.
Well, government is slow to act. So this is the thing about it that's important to appreciate about anything government related, is that they're not nimble, they are slow. So I think the actions that we'll see, and I think there probably will be some actions will happen, but they'll happen slowly. And it's only been a month so far, but I would expect some. There's probably at least a few nefarious things that are in the works right now. I'd say it would be naive to assume that there are no nefarious things. And so I guess but I will just expose them on Twitter and see what happens.
Well, the most important thing, you don't have any suicidal thoughts, do you, Elon?
I do not have any suicidal thoughts. If I committed suicide, it's not real.
Well, that was dark.
That was a good one.
Clay, I know Elon has to jump off, so maybe one more question or one or two. Clay, and then Ian, I'll let you end it, Ian, because you've done a great job asking questions earlier. Clay, go ahead.
Yeah, Elon, this is Clay Travis with Outkick Fox News and radio show with Clay and Buck. You said earlier, and I think it's so important, that you were thinking about just letting everybody know when you get a governmental request to censor someone or take down tweets. What kind of process is in play there, and to what extent can that happen? Because I think you're right. The sunlight of the government being embarrassed when they're going after James Woods, for instance, would drastically reduce any attempts at censorship. What's the update there? What kind of time frame? And do you think that's able to be implemented?
You're muted, Elon.
I mean, as I said earlier, like Twitter will do whatever it is allowed to do within the boundaries of the law to be as transparent and open as possible. And even if we currently are, and I don't know this to be the case, but if we are currently constrained by the law, I think we will push to have the law modified to reduce those constraints, because I think we have to fight hard for free speech, which is the bedrock of a functioning democracy. So, I think you'll see the proof will be in the pudding, and in the coming months, I think you'll see dramatic improvements in the transparency and trustworthiness of Twitter. And I think hopefully you've seen at least some of that already, and it will get better, and I think it will get better in an accelerating way, provided I don't accidentally suicide myself, which I'm not going to do.
Elon, thank you so much for your time today. You have been such a blessing to join us, to give us your insights. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to make that poll for Edward Snowden and Julian Assange, please.
Yeah, it would be interesting to know what the public thinks of these two people and what they're fighting for.
Okay. I will do the poll, and I'll emphasize that I'm not making a judgment here. I'm just asking I'll do it right after this Twitter Spaces ends.
You're just asking a question, right? Asking the public a question.
That's right.
Taking a poll. Yeah.
And final,
Elon. So I have a question. Okay. So,
this is just a question. I'm not.
Yeah. So I got a question, since this is the last one. What message do you have for all the haters and losers out there who are, making fun of you or attacking Twitter? Said it was going to die like 4 weeks ago. What's your message?
Twitter is alive, baby. It's alive.
Oh yeah.
More alive than it's ever been.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Beautiful.
I look forward to the Tesla earnings call right here on Twitter with you, Elon Musk.
Yeah, well, I think it will work. I got the DM, so I assume the promise you made, you Kim, and the promise you made, you Taro, should go through. Elon, really appreciate you, and hope to see you again.
My DM, Mario.
Hope to see you back. Hope to see you again soon, Elon. I really appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Elon.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys. Bye.
And for everyone in the audience, quickly, everyone in the audience, just check the pinned tweet as well. I've just got the next space as
Congratulations, guys. That was amazing. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just for everyone listening, the next space is above pinned tweet, so you can set your reminders there, just to before I forget.
Hello.
But fuck yeah, guys.
All right, cool. So that was it. It was happening live, so I figured I'd just stream it. Then you guys could hear Elon Musk talking about the files more. What did he reveal on that thing? He said Barry Weiss is involved. Make sure you're using Substack, so you follow Matt Taibbi and Barry Weiss, because they're both on there. What is Barry Weiss's Substack called? I can't remember. It's called, I can't remember. But Taibbi is taibbi.substack.com. Now I'm at lifttheveil.substack.com. Look, I'm in the dark right now. Let me see. I have this story I could run with. Check this out. It's about Balenciaga. Sorry, I get shiny. It's about Balenciaga and like these weird sex doll kind of child sex doll things. Do you guys want to hear it? I was thinking about making a video about it. There's an update on Balenciaga. Yep. If you want to support these streams, go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. You can drop a note. I was just streaming Elon Musk live talking about the Twitter files. So, and I was live yesterday during the drop of the Twitter files. So, I was here for it. You guys want to know about the Balenciaga news? Okay, I'll show you. And then you can tell me whether I should make a video about it or not. Thanks for tuning in, though. Sometimes I do breaking news. So some stuff happens on Twitter Spaces, by the way. Like, Twitter is an interesting place. The Twitter Spaces he was on is this guy hosts it, I think, almost every day. And it's got thousands of people tuned in. But I don't know what the guy does for a job and stuff. Like, I don't know how it makes money for him or anything. But he hosts it, and there are thousands of people tuned in all the time. And then people like Kim.com. Like, Kim.com was in that call. Apparently, Timcast was there. People from Fox News were there. Like, stuff happens on Twitter. It's crazy. So follow me on Twitter at LiftTheVeil411. I'm on Twitter as LiftTheVeil. I'm not there as myself. I used to be on Twitter as Nathan Stoltman, but now I'm LiftTheVeil. So I don't know which is better. I was trying to be employed, which is why I didn't want it under my name before. All right, I can show you this story, and then you guys can decide. It comes in a Twitter thread, too, where they're basically calling for the arrest of people. You ready? Trigger warning says, haven't seen Nathan on YouTube in 3 years or so. Great. How's it different? I disappeared. My channel got deleted. Now I'm trying to make myself YouTube friendly, like Jimmy Dore and who's that other guy who's famous? Russell Brand. I was like, they're famous. And Tim Pool and stuff. I was like, maybe I can make it work. But I don't know. Sometimes you got to cover breaking news. That used to be the way to, use the algorithm, was to go live with breaking news. And I was just live with Elon Musk. That was breaking news. Okay, I'll show you this. Thanks, Trigger Warning, who says, welcome back. I've been back for a second. Not long, but the channel is on fire. You guys are in the place. Like, you were here early on. Now people are really starting to notice. They're like, oh my God, this Lift the Veil. You haven't heard Lift the Veil on YouTube? Yeah, look him up. He's been talking about Balenciaga. Now I have like one video with like 30,000 views, and it is like the old days. This is the story. What do you guys think? Tell me if I should make a video about it. This is as reported in Redux. So this is kind of like adult content, but it's art. Okay, it's art. And it does get a little QAnon. Viva Frey also. Victoria Pandora. Like Viva Frey. He's done good. Also. But they're all moving to Rumble. But I haven't found success on Rumble yet. So I'm trying YouTube. Everybody who's famous on Rumble was famous on YouTube first. So I got to first figure that out. This is the story. What do you guys think? You think it's a news story? There are a few updates from Balenciaga. One is that they dropped the lawsuit. Demna, the creative director, apologized for putting the kids and the teddy bears together. Is my mic clicking or anything? You guys would probably tell me if it was. Twisted TB says, I got a mention on the Outer Light channel the other day. Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. People are starting to notice. Lift the veil. They're like, oh, lift the veil. They don't even know. Just wait. Just wait. Just wait till the Lift the Veil documentary put out by Porcelain. Just wait. That's when I'll know I made it. When Porcelain makes a video about me. Child sex mannequins sold in auction house owned by head of Balenciaga parent company. Okay. So this is a story ostensibly related to Balenciaga involving these child it's apparently artwork, okay? But it is like child sex mannequins. It's like you can see it's blurred out. But it's a picture of a kid. It's adult content. This is adult content, but it's also art. So like, and I already say this YouTube video isn't for kids. So anyway, the name of the things, they're called F face. I won't say the word. So if it's not bad enough looking at the picture, they're called F face. And then there are other, so that kid has like an anus and a penis for a mouth and a nose. And that was sold through Christie's auction house. And it's apparently artwork. Anyway, they're connecting it to Balenciaga because the guy that owns Christie's is the same guy that owns Balenciaga, like the parent company. He's some billionaire who's married to Selma Hayek. So this person, this Dominique Samuels, is like, the pedophiles need to be arrested. I mean, she just goes all out. She's like, we need to call out this guy who's the CEO of the parent company to Balenciaga, Kering. And that Christie's is part of that, it is under their umbrella, I guess. And then they sold that weird thing I showed you along with some other weird, like, freaky, grotesque sex mutants, basically. Child sex mutant dolls that were apparently artwork sold for tens of thousands of dollars. In fact, the one with the one I showed you first, it's listed on Christie's website right now. Like it's still on there. And they describe it as if it's like a cool piece of art. So what do you guys think? Like, this person says the Balenciaga pedos scandal continues, basically saying they're pedos. But, and then there are other weird images. I won't show them to you. It's just weird. I have them even unblurred. So what do you think? What do you think of that? So that's something to report on. I know it could go viral, but it's kind of QAnon, right? I mean, tying it to Balenciaga is a bit of a stretch because it's Christie's auction house. Like everybody knows Christie's auction house. It's not like some company. It's Christie's. And they sold this art that people now are finding offensive. But some people consider it art. Obviously, Christie's considered it art, and they sold it. But does it have to do with the guy who owns the company that owns Christie's? Not really. It's a stretch, I think. But it goes along with the Balenciaga story. Like if I wanted to, I would make like a shocking video about it, and it would go viral. Like I could tell you right now, like make a video about it and say they're all pedos or something. It'll go viral. Until they maybe ban it. It depends on how you say it. But I'm telling you, like, I can advise you on how to make viral videos. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, that's shocking. But then I realized, oh, it's Christie's. And then I was like, oh, it's some kind of weird art. And it's not really connected to Balenciaga. The updates on Balenciaga is that they dropped the lawsuit. So I might make a video about that. What do you think? Just to give people an update, because I have been doing Balenciaga updates, right? You might have noticed. So I might do an update. Basically, the creative director apologized for posing the kids with the bags, but not for the CP document. And they're dropping the lawsuit over the CP document too. So that is news. So I might report on it. I might make a short video just to see if the algorithm likes it. All right. So that's it. I thought I'd give you that breaking news from Twitter Spaces. People can listen to it. Did we learn anything? I'm waiting to find out whether my Twitter account was affected. I don't know if I'm ever going to find out. All of a sudden, people started following me on Twitter. I mean, my chart is my chart is going to look crazy when it shows my Twitter followers from how it started like a little over a week ago. If it just keeps going the way it's going, it's really strange. So I don't know if I was on some list. I'd like to get to the bottom of it. Victoria Pandora says, not art. When they call it art, okay, it's not. Yeah. Alexander Zapata says, stick to solid connections, have more mileage. Yeah, solid connections are good. We know that Kim K is connected with Balenciaga. Yeah. And Ye is also super connected to Balenciaga, right? So Ye really came out in support of Balenciaga. He said, love Balenciaga. Nobody's cutting ties with Balenciaga. So, yeah, maybe I might make something. I can run it by you guys right now. Here, like there's this person. This is an interesting clip. Here's a guy on some news show talking about it. I don't know what to think about it. It's not as it was fun. It was fun looking into all this stuff and seeing people connect the dots. It's always fun, like Pizzagate. But it's not as good as Pizzagate. Pizzagate was the best as far as researchers and stuff digging stuff up. You can never that'll never be recreated. Here, I'll play this. And I can't say that. I mean, sorry. What am I supposed to say? Sorry. As far as conspiracy theories go, if you're interested in conspiracy theories, that was an interesting conspiracy theory. This show, we talk about conspiracy theories. Doesn't mean we were saying they're true. Doesn't mean that. In fact, by law, by rule, we must say that all conspiracy theories are not true. But we tell people about them. Like once there was this conspiracy theory. It was called Pizzagate. That's all. And there was a terrible man who shot up the pizza joint. I can tell you about that story. That's an interesting story. All right, I'll play this clip for you. See what you think. Hold on.
Where's the outrage? I'm going to go off for a minute here because where is the outrage? It's been a week and a half And now we're doing this story. I get it. Thanksgiving was happening and all that. But they tried to hide behind that, right? Maybe this will make it through the news cycle. No, it's not. Okay. Adidas didn't cut ties 48 hours after Kanye did his whole thing, right? And they got lambasted for not speaking out against anti-Semitism. This is a week and a half, and nobody seems to care that there's little kids involved in this. I can't speak what it's like to be a black man, right? I can't speak what it's like to be a Jewish woman, but I could speak what it's like to be a father of two young boys. And that this type of behavior, when I worked at CBS.com out of a little closet my first show, I was like, I'm going to say this and wear a blue shirt. I got 49 emails saying, maybe wear a purple shirt and maybe don't say this here. Don't tell me this slipped through the cracks when you're getting a court case that features child pornography. It's disgusting. It's disturbing. Jeopardy's got to flip their whole production because of one person said something, but they wanted to be woke and do all that. How many other examples are there? 10, 20, 30, 40 years we're going back to cancel people? But this slips through the cracks. It's outrageous. And that people aren't outraged and skipping work with their posters and going to the courthouse or going to Balenciaga, and stars aren't wiping their Instagram and social media with all their Balenciaga gear is disgusting in itself. Don't you tell me, Hollywood, how to live my life, or you want me canceled, or because you produce something. You're going to go around because Balenciaga pays you $1 million, $2 million, $5 million. Kim Kardashian, shame on you. You're a billionaire. You don't need this company. They need you. And for you to take a week and a half to come to a conclusion, shame on you.
All right. There you go. That's the kind of thing that goes on TikTok. So that's a clip I could play too that has to do with Balenciaga and Kim K, right? She got signed up with Balenciaga. Apparently they're about to do a partnership with Supreme, which is like a famous fashion brand. There's something in this thread about Supreme and how Supreme did skateboards with the artwork on it. They did skateboards with the artist who did the mannequins, and they're right there. So that is weird that Supreme did, it appears, Supreme did boards with the artists. So yeah, I don't know. There's something to it. But it is, you know, people do get kind of crazy too about stuff. I don't want to trigger people. But these are the skateboards, they said, were designed by Supreme with the... So apparently they're going to be working with Balenciaga. According to this story, Balenciaga and Supreme collaboration is coming spring 2023. And they collaborated with Adidas. It's weird. Balenciaga is like a big company. It's going to be like, they're turning into a major fashion brand. They're going more mainstream by doing these collaborations. So once they were unattainable, now it's like attainable. So people are buying it. And then eventually it'll just be like, oh, Balenciaga. Like pretty soon it's going to be like, oh, Balenciaga sucks. People are going to say, like, it's played out. At some point, that's what happens to almost every brand. Unless they do it right, like Mercedes does well. There are some brands that are good. But most brands end up cheapening themselves. Like Tommy Hilfiger. Or I'm trying to think. Other brands like that end up in Target, you know, like Stussy. They go mainstream. So should I make something about that? Thanks for tuning in. Good to see you guys. It's Saturday. Just was listening to the thing with Elon Musk. Thinking about making videos. Don't know how to approach the thing with the child sex dolls or whatever they are. But I could say I could do something that's about how they're not pursuing litigation. So I could give the updates for that on Balenciaga. Balenciaga takes the following actions. Oh, okay. So they posted something new. They have a new post. Okay. So yeah, maybe I'll make a video about it. You guys already have all the information though. So isn't that great? You just tuned in. Thanks. Sticky Marks says face boot. I called it from the get-go. 1984 quote, a boot stamping on the face of humanity for eternity. Love from a crazy cat lady in Yorkshire, UK. Dan Whiffen says, Nathan, do you mow the lawn? Did I mow the lawn? No, it's dark. It was dark out and raining. I did deliver the packages today, though. And you can visit our store for t-shirts and hoodies at truthclothing.io. Thanks. I actually have more people tuned in now than before. Should I just lie in the title? Because I'm not even, like, people are tuning in now and they're staying tuned in, even though Elon Musk isn't talking. That's weird to me. That's weird. You're weird because you're not here you're not getting what you came here for at all right now. We're talking about something totally different. So that's cool. Thanks for joining me. Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll give an update about Balenciaga. Balenciaga has decided not to pursue. I'll give you guys the statement. I'll practice for my thing because you guys are tuned in here. Here's the statement from Balenciaga. Balenciaga takes the following actions with the objective to learn from our mistakes as an organization. New control instances. Our current process for content validation has failed, and we recognize the need to do better. On the internal side, we nominate with immediate effect an image board responsible for evaluating the nature of our content from concept to final assets, including legal, sustainability, and diversity expertise. On the external side, we have appointed a best-in-class agency to assess and evaluate our content. Organization. We have reorganized our image department to ensure full alignment with our corporate guidelines. Lawsuit. Balenciaga has decided not to pursue litigation. Learn and contribute. We want to learn, help, and contribute to protect children. We are starting trainings on responsible communication across our teams. Together with my team, we will go on a listening tour. Oh, that's great. To engage with advocacy groups who aim to protect children. That's good. Donation. We have set aside a significant fund for grants to organizations so that we can help make a difference in protecting children. I want to personally reiterate my sincere apologies for the offense caused and take my responsibility. At Balenciaga, we stand together for children's safety and do not tolerate any kind of violence and hatred message. That's not very good English, but I guess the guy's French. Cédric Charby, President and CEO. We stand together for children's safety and do not tolerate any kind of violence and hatred message. Violence. Yeah, that's not very good English. Thanks, Sticky Marks. So yeah, that's from Balenciaga. And then I have did you guys see Nick Fuentes throw a milkshake? I can show you. Hold on, a few things. I have too many tabs open. I can show you Fuentes throwing a milkshake. Nick Fuentes at an In-N-Out got caught having a food fight. Show you that. Oh, there's no sound. There, did you see it? So there it is. Apparently somebody threw something at him. So it seems like the Yay campaign's falling apart. There's something with, here's like some.
Before this goes viral, I know this is going to look bad on Nick Fuentes. You can see him throwing a Sprite in the In-N-Out. But if you look at the ceiling right here, you see there's ketchup all over. That's because some lady and her husband came up to us, flipped us off, and then threw the ketchup all over me and Nick, mostly Nick. I just wiped it out of my hoodie. And he retaliated with the Sprite. That's actually what happened. We were attacked first, and we told them to go away. They went away and threw ketchup at us. He should not have thrown the Sprite, but that's the truth. And it's all over my favorite hoodie, man. Before this goes viral, I know.
Okay, so there you go. I don't know how to do that. I got to learn how to make short videos like that. I don't know how to do that. Like overlay my face over something for TikTok or YouTube Shorts. I wonder if there's a program for that. Because there are some topics that are very short, where you're like, oh, I can cover this in under 60 seconds. So I was thinking about doing that. But sometimes I clip my show and release some clips from it. Sometimes I delete my show so that there's no evidence of it. But this show we can keep up. Brian M says, why am I anti-Fuentes? Yay. Well, why am I anti-Fuentes and Yay? Because they're jokers, man. They're just jokers. They're not serious. I can't take them seriously, really. So until they start acting seriously, I'm going to say that they're jokers and that they shouldn't be taken seriously. Like, I can't be convinced that what Ye did isn't some kind of weird performance art, because as performance art, it was interesting. So I have to be serious. I like to support winners too. So I'm throwing my support behind someone who's going to win. Maybe like DeSantis, probably, even though he's got problems. But Nick Fuentes, yeah, it's a disaster. They say he's going to kill himself. Do you guys think, should I run a poll? It's a morbid poll, though. Is Ye going to survive? What do you guys think? Is he going to make it? He said some crazy shit. I was going to make a video about Holocaust denial. I've done some research into it. That is an extremely interesting topic. And I was thinking about making a video about it, but I don't know. It's very sensitive. So if people want to see that, let me know. Maybe I'll make it for Rockfin or something. There's just some interesting stuff. Since Ye brought it up, that was one of the things Ye brought up. He was like, oh, Ronald Reagan said something like that too. Even the AI isn't sure. Even the AI isn't totally 100% sure. It says, the AI says the exact number of Jews killed during the Holocaust is difficult to determine, as many records were destroyed during the war and the immediate aftermath. So just saying that sometimes it's enough for somebody to say you're anti-Semitic. So I had to check I wanted to see if the AI was a Holocaust denier. It's not. It says that it was probably around 6 million. But Dan Whiffen says, probably not a good idea, dude. Yeah, you guys are going to have to start worrying about my health. Yeah, or I could do something about, right, CAs. Yeah, I don't even want to say those words. Yeah, I could do a retrospective of different CAs in history. Sometimes I think about covering conspiracy theories and just being like, oh, by the way, this is this conspiracy theory. Like I was thinking about it with SH. I was going to be like, oh, so normie, right? Like, and make it for normies. Say, okay, normie. So you heard about like people say SH was an H, right? And normies are like, yeah, that's what Alex Jones said. He said they were all actors and that the parents were fakers and nobody died and stuff. And then you're like, well, do you know why people said that? And then just say, well, there was this. Let me introduce you to, Robbie Parker. And then let me introduce you to Wayne Carver. And then let me tell you about this. And let me tell you about that. But no, I probably couldn't do that. But I'm really into conspiracy theories, They make it hard for me on YouTube. Really, really interested, especially if they're really taboo. I could have on another guest that channels aliens. I've done that before. That was pretty exciting. But people aren't as into it. Some people think that they're summoning demons when they do that. But I have a friend who channels ETs. Or she's kind of a friend. She's been on the show a couple times. We had her try to channel the ghost of Isaac Cappy. Yeah, it was interesting. It didn't work out, I don't think. I don't think she got him. RV says, lift the veil, come out of the closet. No, I can't. I have an interest in conspiracy theories, but I cannot profess to believe them. But I can talk about them as long as I say I don't believe in them. All right, I think that's it. I'll think about making a video with an update on Balenciaga for people, just in case like the algorithm picks it up. I don't know whether to make a big deal out of those dolls. I mean, that's just a weird thing, but I'm not feeling the right energy, but somebody could. What do you guys think? Do you think I should make a video about it? Did you guys think the weird child sex mannequin things is an interesting story, or shows that they're all pedivores or whatever? You guys tell me. I'm taking advice. Chris Hyde says, what's going on with the new moon mission? Good question. I don't think we can I still don't think we can go. Like, I don't think suddenly we can go to the moon. So I'd say that it'll be interesting to see them try to fake it. Usually what they do is they just keep pushing it back, right? They're like, oh, because I think we were supposed to already be back a bunch of times. They kept saying, they keep pushing it back, because it's going to be hard to fake it this time, right? I mean, without getting caught. But I don't think they can do it. I don't think it's, in fact, I don't think it's, well, should I say I don't think it's possible? I don't know. Like, could aliens do it with their technology? I'm not sure. Maybe aliens could do it. I don't know if you can land on the moon. One weird thing about the moon is how, like, it really freaks me out. The same side of it faces us all the time. Like, isn't that weird? Like, we turn, but the moon doesn't turn. Or the moon does turn, but it turns to stay facing us all the time. Like, that's weird. How is that possible? I guess it is. That's the way it works, but it is weird. And then how does it have craters on it? How does the side that's facing us have craters on it from like, it looks like it got hit by asteroids, but it's on from the side facing Earth. So like it would have been have to hit by stuff coming from Earth to make those craters and stuff. You ever think about that? Mike Maker says, just do the Balenciaga stuff now and clip it. No, I can record it, I guess. It's probably better to record it. I have to decide how to package it, but maybe it's better to record it. It's good to do short videos sometimes. I know some people clip, right? I know. All right, I think that's it. I have people tuned in, so I'm dragging my feet, but I think that's all I have for you. I'll see if anybody left me a coffee. I gave you free entertainment today. No, well, thanks for the super chat anyway. Where is it? I did get a super chat. It says no super chats, but I did get one. And I said thank you for it. All right, guys. We'll see you at the next one. All right. For now, that's what it is.